Hey guys, I've just picked up the stereo system. It's in here. If you can see at the back, that's the main unit hiding. The speakers are in the tray, the back of my ute. So that's all good. It's really hot here today. It's getting close to summer. It all looks good, and fingers crossed it's going to look like magic, and it will. I know it will. So here we go. It's the middle of the day. I'll come back just after this when it's all set up in the room. We'll go through it. Here we go. Woo. Say hi, Okay guys, I've just got home and I'm in my garage now, and I've just brought in the speakers and the main unit. If you can see down here, I'll just see if I can show you that. I'm just now going to move this into the vinyl room, and then we'll I'll run through what they did. Okay guys, in the music room now with the speakers, just putting it all together, and we'll just look at the what the damage was. So you can see there reported fault, so we had issues with the speakers not working, new cabling required, a new power lead, etc. This is what they did. So actually the main things that they did was repaired 2 channels, replaced a lot of faulty plugs, illumination lights, speaker wires, that type of thing. But overall they said it was sounding fantastic and running well. They let it run for about 3 days, which is great, so they can check for intermittent faults, but after 3 days it was all good, so that's good news. And there's all the parts if you wanted to pause that and have a closer look. All up, it was just over 200 Australian or Canadian dollars. So I was happy with that. So overall my total out of pocket is around the 300 mark for buying the unit and getting it fixed. So a couple of main things to point out is that they put in some RCA connections here. So these are the front speakers and the rears. So before they had the original inputs, which were kind of like a four prong holes, I guess, female in these parts. So adding modern speakers, that type of thing, will be difficult. So while he was replacing the channel issues inside, we added these RCAs here, which are really good. The main power lead here, it was all frayed and changed, so I think he's replaced that. The FM antenna on the right and the AM on the left, I didn't have any antennas, so we added those as well. Looking at the speakers, this is the front right speaker with the new cables and those plugs there too. We'll plug into here. Same with the other speaker. And then over here I've got a couple of Yamaha surround sound rear type speakers that are left over from my setup in my living area, which is at the other end of the house. So I kept these. I've had these for a good year or two and finally had good reason to use them. So again, he's added the same sort of cabling with the ends, and they will go into the rear sockets. Hello Craig Vinyl community, and welcome to Diary of My New Turntable Part 4, and this will be the final episode. I've got the machine over here on the side of the room here, in my music room, and it's here, it's finally arrived, and it's here, and it's all working beautifully. It's now Sunday morning here. I'll be watching the UFC 205, go Conor McGregor, and Misha Tate, for those of you who like UFC or MMA. Look, I picked up the unit on Friday. as you saw in the previous videos. Set it all up Friday, and Friday evening I cranked some music on it, tested all the buttons and switches and things, and everything is working fantastic. And one album I played on there, which for me I recognise as well, especially after playing. My point is, when I played this album through this system, I could not believe how fantastic the sound was. A couple of you who follow me on Instagram and Facebook and that would have seen me posting about my joy, I guess, of just how unbelievable it sounded. And a couple of things. Well, here it is. Rumours, Fleetwood Mac. I did finally pick up a copy of this not too long ago, finally. I think it was Doug from Fat City Vinyl, or Jeff Speaker, pointed out to me. I was saying, look, I have not been able to get my hands on a copy yet. And they said, don't worry, there's plenty of them out there. And sure enough, a week later, here it is. Anyway, I put this on, and for those of you who know the album well, side one, I mean, every song is absolute killer. And putting it on a vintage retro system like the one I have, and again I say vintage, this machine came out in the same year I was born, so what does that make me? Maybe I'm cool, man, I'm retro, I'm something like that, I'm down with it. Anyway, it was almost like listening to this, it just felt like it's kind of pointed out to me how well that album was actually either produced, engineered, pressed, that type of thing. The musicianship, the songwriting, it just all blended perfectly. And coming out of this system, I've never heard, I mean, we all heard these songs before on CD and all that type of stuff, and on vinyl on modern systems, but to hear it on this, it just blew me away. It just really cemented in my mind that I've done the right thing here, getting this system, investing the time in getting it right, actually spotting the system of being available for sale at a good price, and then putting it together the way I have, and just having that vision I wanted and going for it, and then playing this on last Friday night, just really confirmed for me I've done the right thing, and I love the sound of it. I was just in awe. I could not believe it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, check the links below, because I do post a lot during the week on Instagram, stuff that I'm playing, stuff that I've recently picked up, just cool stuff to look at. Nothing better than looking at awesome classic rock. As you know, I'm into album covers, that type of thing. So yeah, have a look at that if you're on Instagram. Alright, let's switch over now. I'll just highlight the features of this system. Cool. Okay, I've just switched over to my iPhone from the laptop Mac, just so we can zoom and have a closer look here. This is let's just go in there. Sorry about the shadowing. So we've got the headphone jack, the front and rear, so I haven't tried this yet. Up here we have they call it dimension control. How cool is that? So obviously the front left, front right speakers, and the rears, which I'll show you in a minute, left and right. When I was playing it Friday night, even after having a couple of drinks, I only had it about this level, and that was so loud. So obviously I'd expect some distortion up around this level or higher, which you'd expect from these systems, but nonetheless, for the room I've got and to get that output, I was really pleased with. The on-off switch, I'll just turn these down. So this switch wasn't working before. When I first got this system in my early videos, you would have seen this was not working. So that's been fixed. Like a loudness level here, so I actually like that on. You get a bit more gain, a bit more dynamics coming out. I like a bit more bass output, treble output. So for me, having that on gives me that that sound. Tape monitor. There's no tape monitor here, but I guess if I was going to add one, or a excuse me, or a CD player type of thing, I would add that there. I'm actually thinking about that. Also, here's a question for the VC. A couple of people have told me, okay, you want to play CDs, why not buy a DVD player? Stay away from Sony discs, the lasers are bad, but why not get a DVD player? Especially Blu-rays. Can Blu-rays play output better sound or quality? I'm not sure, but even a lot cheaper than a CD player. $5 or $10. So what I was thinking, if I got something like that, I might put that. This is a front storage area. Put it inside there and run that up into the back phono, and then use that to switch between the CD player. Now these are the channel selectors. I've currently got it on a 424 here. I haven't played with these a lot yet, but again, like I'd explained here with the loudness sound, I find here it gets the best output sound that I want. Microphone, yes, I can plug in a mic here and think that I'm on stage, do a comedy routine, no one else listening. This is the microphone volume button. This is the bass selector and treble. I've currently got them at these levels. Normally when I'm playing bass, particularly on more modern systems and in the car and that type of thing, I normally have it cranked right up, but the bass output in this is extremely good. It's extremely dynamic and loud, I suppose. So for me to have it at this level near 3/4 actually says something, what the system outputs. The function switch phono for the player, LP player, and the tuning for the radio. So I put a FM antenna and AM as well. We put some new lights in here, bulbs behind this to improve the illumination. So that was all done. The player here, so just 3345s, no 78 settings. Belt drive, of course. So basically you're moving this, set your record on the plate, move this over the tone arm manually into position, and then flick the player, and that just sets the tone arm down to the record. I don't know if you're getting a bit dark here, but some kind of weight control there. I haven't played with this yet. Another counterweight control at the back. This, I'm not sure, but I think it's to do with the anti-skating, so I'll have a play with that later on. This tone arm, etc., as far as I know, this setup's all original, 1973. That's just a little hook to hold that in place. I won't take this out completely, but if you can see there, that's the belt going around there. I'll sit back. Left and right, original speakers. I don't have the original rear speakers for this system, so what I did is I hooked up, I've come up here, as you saw before, these are the Yamaha, so I've got the right one up here, left one up here, and that just helps sort of give you a bit more gain from different areas of the room, a bit more sound. I have them down tone lower than the the fronts, of course, just to help fill the room. So there you go. Okay, so there you have it. That's the system. And as I said, just fantastic. Just so pleased that we've got there, and many hours of enjoyment of listening to come. So I've still got a lot to catch up on vinyl finds. I'll record one now, and yeah, look forward to that. And yeah, so let me know in the comments, do you have any vintage equipment? What's your favourite piece of vintage equipment? Do you have any advice for me? Like in the set up the turntable, like I don't have a cork platter yet, that type of thing. I guess, you know, maintenance, I've got a spin clean kit which I bought recently. I need to get a brush as well, just to brush the record before I play it, and just to clean the stylus, and then also I've got to check the weight of the style from the platter, that type of thing. But if you've got any other advice for me, things to check regular maintenance, please. I'm new to this. So for those of you who have been along watching all the video parts here, thanks very much. For those of you who just joined, hit the subscribe button below. As I always say, if you love listening to or looking at classic rock records, that type of thing, you come to the right place, Craig Vinyl. Just enjoy looking back in the past. When I'm always looking for finds, and you know, particularly from the sort of 60s, 70s, and 80s in that classic rock, prog rock genre. Then yeah, subscribe below and enjoy the fun. All right, guys, cheers out.